Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk. This week, we're going to touch on a hot button topic in the industry that's generating a ton of questions from suppliers and distributors alike.
Promo standards.
Scary movie voice aside, the idea of standardizing data structures and communication protocols can be a daunting concept, or at the very least, a little confusing. Before we talk about what promo standards actually is and how it can benefit you, let's step back and talk about why we might want to standardize procedures across industry suppliers and distributors. If you think back to the early days of the aviation industry and the earliest international flights, imagine the difficulties of handling inbound flights flown by pilots from dozens of different countries. As an air traffic controller, you'd have to be proficient in multiple languages to effectively communicate with the pilots to ensure the safe and efficient movement of air traffic. To address this issue, the ICAO settled on English and developed a set of standard language proficiency requirements. Today, all pilots and air traffic controllers are trained in and use a standardized set of commands in a common language. If you're a supplier and you apply that scenario to your company, imagine receiving POs in dozens of different languages, and you start to see the importance of standardization. If you extrapolate that idea a bit further, and instead of cultural language differences, you talk about software languages and data transfer protocols and how they might apply to product data, inventory data, purchase orders, or more, you start to get a feel for the historical inefficiencies of data flow in our industry. You see that orders and artwork arrived at a supplier's factory via regular mail, by fax, even on bar napkins if you believe some of the urban legends. In more recent times, we're seeing upwards of 80% or more of orders arriving via email, with a smaller portion coming through direct customer portals, other integrations, and yes, there's still a few coming through by fax out there. Now, email was definitely a step forward in terms of efficiency, but even then, a supplier often had to rekey an order into their production system. The goal of promo standards was to simplify the selling cycle by leveraging a common set of standards and integrations. Inventory was tackled first, since in theory, inventory data is among the simplest of data. The implementation of the inventory standard certainly did result in an immediate increase in efficiency by many suppliers and distributors, since distributors no longer needed to pick up the phone to check on inventory. It was available right there on the supplier's website, through one of the industry service providers, or through a direct integration between the distributor and the supplier. Some suppliers are up and running on all of the standards, while others are still working through some of the newer and more complex standards. The larger distributors in the industry are working on direct integrations with suppliers. Smaller distributors, or those who don't have the resources or expertise to build a direct integration, can still take advantage of promo standards. In fact, sometimes you might not even know that you're tapping into promo standards. If you're viewing product data on a supplier's website or on one of the industry service provider platforms that is integrated with promo standards, and you see inventory data, chances are you're viewing data that's being provided live from a supplier's database leveraging promo standards. What does this all mean to you? If you're a supplier, it means that soon you could be receiving purchase orders in a standardized format that could go straight into production. If you're a distributor, those same efficiency gains apply. Imagine if you didn't have to follow up on inventory availability, order status, ship dates, and more. Even better, imagine a scenario where your customers had access to this data on your website and didn't have to call you for the simplest of questions. Now, granted, most suppliers and distributors aren't quite there yet, but over the past few years, we've seen significant leaps and bounds to address these inefficiencies, and I believe we're only starting to see the benefits that could come out of this movement. If you'd like to learn more, check out promostandards.org or talk to your IT partners to find out what you should be doing to take advantage of these tools. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Tech Talk.